Good morning, folks, or I should say good afternoon. Sorry about that. This day has gone by so fast. I can't believe how fast it's gone by. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and say hi. I just started doing some of my painting. So I just did a few shorts, and now I thought what I'd do is actually feel like one of the scenes that I kind of started when I was doing the shorts. It's funny how one thing spurs on something else. But today is going to be probably a little bit of a painting afternoon. I didn't feel like it this morning. I did quite a few other different things. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Whatever's going on in your life, I hope life is treating you kind. And I thought I would just come on and just tell you that we're about to paint. So join me. I sure hope that it spurs you, my painting spurs you on to try something, any part of the painting whatsoever, or just putting water on the paper and some paint. See what it does, because just putting water onto paper, dropping some paint on it, really kind of gives you a pretty good idea of what watercolor does. Put it on the paper, move it around, move your paper around, swirl your paint around and so forth with the water. Add some more water, put some paint and see what that does, and you get the idea. And so let's get painting, because I don't like my videos to be too long on the regular video ones. So join in with me, excuse me. It's one of those days, folks. Join with me in a minute at the table. Okay, so continuing down here onto the table, I have a piece of paper. I've drawn my little house, and I think what we're going to do on this small little piece of paper here is I'm going to just make a real small little scene, like a little cottage scene. Actually, is basically what this is going to be. Very, very freehand, using different brushes and so forth and so on. So we're going to start out with, I think, here is the sky. So we're going to, and this paper is actually a paper that I bought that was not very good. I didn't realize it wouldn't be that good of paper. It was for just doing, practicing, which is really, you don't need to get really good paper for practicing. So anyway, this is what this paper is, but on the other side, it's not interchangeable, or what do you call that? You can't use the back side of it. It's cold pressed, and you'd never know it. It's just a regular piece of paper. It's very cheap. I actually did not realize how cheap it was. But for exercises and these sorts of things, it works just fine. So we're going to, just kind of, we wet the paper. Oh, and what I also meant to say is that what I added to make it work at all is watercolor grounds. I had some, and so I figured, you know what, let's just put water grounds on the paper so I can use it at all on the back sides for these exercises. Okay, I'm going to grab, and it works fine. It works just great. So take a little pink. I love pink in the sky. Add that around different areas. Gives it a little different, flavor in the sky. See how pretty that looks? Pull some water out with this happens to be a flat brush that I'm using. Okay, so of course we want the sky to be a little darker at the top. So this is just going to be a real cute little, quick little depiction of a little cottage scene, so to speak. And it will be layers. We'll be doing layers here. So that's the sky. No big deal, except I am going to put a little more. Actually, before I do that, I want to get a little bit of, oops, it's a little too much. Well, anyways, I'm going to add that in here towards this bottom area. And yeah, I can go right kind of over the house too, because it's not going to matter that much. And the yellow ochre is not going to turn green as long as you don't mess with it too much. Come back with some pink, add that in there as well. And now that I've taken some color out, a little bit of yellow, but not much. Take some of that out. Okay, so now we have a fairly pretty little sky here. And what I'll do here for the bottom of this cute little painting here, we'll wet the bottom of it. The water grounds really, I find, work nicely on paper that, you know, you like this, that you bought by mistake, or you just have it and you want to use it up. Like multimedia paper works that, you know, good that way. And the watercolor browns really do save you. I mean, you know, now I can use this this paper that really wasn't amounting to be good for much of anything, really. So it really does help a lot, I think. We're just gonna, you know, throw in some little plateaus of greenery, some dark areas, some light areas, you know, so it looks like we've got some depth going on as well, trying to portray that. All right, so now and of course this is going to buckle because, as I said, it's not very expensive paper. It's just something that I'm going to use for this cute little exercise. So I'll probably have to hold it down to some degree. Okay, I want some yellows up here. Make that area look lighter. Different places there. So that's pretty good. All right. And then on this side, it's going to be more a bit more on the green before we get into the this in over here, because there, we've just got different, and you know what I did? I went right over the area. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna pull it out right now while I'm thinking of it. I just wanted a little walkway over here, and looking at other parts of it, I lost the idea for a minute there. It's just one of those days, folks. Don't mind me, just follow along. We all have them, right? So, trying to go past it. I'm not going to get all wound up about it. It's just one of those types of days. Okay, there we go. And I don't want to put too much more into these colors. So we're going to go over to the roof, and I want it to be kind of a, well, what's going on here? There we go. Kind of a grayish. So I'm going to take some, I had some black there, and I have a few other colors mixed in with it. So we're just going to come in here. We're still using this, I probably should have changed by now, but we're using this, so there's a little bit of red. Now, one of the things, oh, I keep doing that. I keep having a thought, and then I get another thought, and then I get another thought. Okay, let's finish the first thought I had. I tend to mix a lot of colors on my palette. In doing so, it makes a lot of blends. So this is a blend that I'm using, which has some white, some black, some little bit of pink that was sitting there beforehand, and I think it actually makes a really kind of cool color. And then I'm just going to kind of, a little too much on there, kind of go like this to make it look textury a little bit. And then we're going to highlight, we'll have the highlights on the right side. All right, and I'm going to take that same mixture and put it on this part, little roof section that comes out here. I don't have water on my paper right now. I only have it on my brush, although this part here and probably part of the sky is still a little damp, so I don't want to get too much going on there with water because it's all just gonna pull that down a little. I normally don't work on such a small surface either, so I'm having to keep that in mind, that I'm on a much smaller surface here for this little cottage exercise. I like to give you some little tips. And I'm letting things kind of happen in a certain way because I want to explain it. See how this here is, I didn't wet it, so it's staying where I put the paint. This over here is blending with what is wet. Because I'm doing an exercise, it doesn't matter. I'm not painting a painting or for someone, you know. If I was, I wouldn't do that because I wouldn't want it to blend like that. But for the sake of what I'm doing here, it's just a good time to show what happens with something you don't, literally kind of want to happen, per se. Just sort of kind of is a good way to depict all that. And then I'm going to get some of this kind of a yellowy, and I'm going to paint in the house. Kind of trying to stay away from what I already wet, but if I get some in the paint, it's okay, because I want a lot of blends anyway. I don't want too much of what I put in, but you get what I'm saying. It's okay if some of that comes in. This would be the shadow side anyway, so we're going to add a little bit of darker on that side. I'm going to come in, I'm going to add a little lighter of the color I was using for this side, because this is the highlighted side. This brush is working fine. I don't need to use a flat brush. I can use a round brush or large round brush, small round brush. Really just is a matter of preference. Took a little bit of the blends I had on the palette for that. I'm going to add some white in different spots because this is the lighter side. But as you can see, all right, if I had wanted, this is still a little damp. As I said, for an exercise, it's okay. If you were doing a regular painting, you certainly wouldn't want that to happen. But because I'm doing an exercise, I can show you what. See, it's still spreading. It's what watercolor does. When watery hits watery, it spreads. Now, what I can do, which I'm going to do now that I've shown you that, I'm going to come in with a damp brush that I've taken the paint off. And I'm just going to come and take that right out, as if it never happened. See how that works? And, so that's fine. We really don't even know now, for the most part, that went on. We'll let that dry. And then I'll let those edges kind of stay that way, mainly because this is the lighter side anyways. So I wanted, we want some light areas on this side, the right-hand side of the painting, right? And then I'm going to take some of my burnt sienna. I'm going to come in here and add some of that into some of this. Okay, so that kind of works pretty good. Now my dilemma was, what color door was I going to put on here? So I have decided I'm going to grab one of my small round brushes with a nice point, and although I normally would go with red, I'm going to go with blue today. So with the paper dry and my brush fairly dry, the paint's fairly dry, I'm putting in the blue door. I think that'll look good. Just a blue, simple blue door, okay, with my little round brush here. And also, I'm going to use this same small brush to go into the sepia or kind of darker area, and I'm just going to outline my windows. I've had too much coffee today. My hands are shaking a lot, which will happen when I drink too much coffee. I'm actually going to come over here and outline the door in some black. I mean dark, and I'm going to come up here with this as well, even though it's a little damp still. That's all right for now. And we're just going to add in the eaves. Whoop, one paintbrush down. And I'm going to come here, do that. And we need to do the chimney. All right, so now we've got pretty good amount of things going on here. So far I've used the flat brush, and I've used the round brush. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the flat brush here, and I'm going to kind of come in here, go back to the grassiness and the grassiness around the. I will say this, in using the watercolor to a paper that is not exactly the best kind of watercolor and so forth, you won't get the a nice, better blends than you would, of course, if you use just a regular. It works fine, as you can see, but there's a difference. But for little exercises like this, it's just fine. Just fine. Okay, so we've kind of depicted some nice grassy area. Then in this, make this brush very flat. Sometimes when I want to really have a flat edge, flat area, really, I squeeze the tip of the brush. I just want to get some of those lines, that you see in the roofs. Add that on there. And then take now I could have gone with a straight line down. I happen to like the generic look of not just a straight line. I don't know why, but for me, I kind of enjoy that look sometimes, which is what I've got here. Okay. All right, now for the this little walkway, I'm going to have some yellow ochre, some burnt sienna. I'm going to have some, I'm going to get a bunch of colors that I've kind of got all going on in my palette here with not a lot of water. Just a walkway going up. It's a large walkway, I will admit. So I think we will narrow it a little bit with some paint. There we go. I actually wasn't quite sure how I was going to do that, but that's how we're going to do that. Okay. Moving around the colors. By now, as I said, I've got quite a few different blends going on my paper. Some whites a little bit. I'm going to go back into the brown and the sepia. Darken up some areas here. Of course, at the moment here, it doesn't look like I have a bottom to my house here, so we We want to make sure that happens. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of, and this blue door, I want this to come down a little. Doesn't really matter that much, but I'm going to bring it down a little bit further, just kind of like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put some, like I said, this is a very, very, very simple little depiction of a little cottage, but I think it's kind of fun. All right, so I'm going to grab one of my round brushes, a little bit larger than the one I had. I'm going into some of those greens, and I'm going to dot in this time for foliage. There's different ways to do foliage. For me, for this time, I'm going to take some darks and lights of greens and sepia, and we're going to dot in some little bushes. Start out like that, and then I'm going to get this yellows here and greens, and get one of the dark greens. This is just dabbing. The tip of my brush is what it is. It's a cool way, really cool way to depict foliage around houses. I did a couple of shorts that I had several different ways of depicting foliage around the house. So this is one of them. I'm going to go in with some darker color and put that in. I think that just looks so cute. All right, I'm going to take some darker again, and we're going to add the other colors, and I want to get a nice, I'm coming right up here because I want to get a real nice, and I'm swirling this in my hand. So I want these trees, these are going to eventually here, be all up and around this side of the house. And I want the darker, of course, to be near the house where the shade. I'm leaving a little bit of white spots here and there. Then we're going to add some yellow in there. Some yellow ochre. Whatever colors, you know, I sort of just have. And then, on top of that, I'm going to take my fan brush here, and to get some other little cool effects, I'm going to come in here, and as if, you know, there's these little branches that are all kind of popping out and poking out. Too much water. Okay, so we'll get less water. Oh, get some stuff on my brush here. And so it looks like, you know, that it's just a wild tree. That's so cool looking. Just like a wild tree here on the side of the house, grew up, you know, on the side of the house. And isn't that just the coolest thing you ever saw? Okay, so we're going to get a little red in there. Add that. But you see the coolness? It gives that wild branch, wild foliage look. Whoops, sorry. Which, you know, is really cool when you're putting in the foliage. Come and get some lighter. Turn that to a bit of an orange. And it kind of flops down on the house. And there we, you know, isn't that just the cutest thing? Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this same, I hope, this same little brush and along here. I don't want to go like this. I want to hold it like this. Otherwise, it's going to look really weird. Okay, so we're going to come up and down, and we're going to depict some little wild kind of branches, right? That, I keep saying branches. I'm really not sure why, folks. Bushes, like little bushes that are happening on the side of the road there, side of the Let's just add some whatever colors. There we go. For texture. And I actually think I'm going to dot around on this house on that shade side a bit like that. I don't know why, but I kind of just like that look. Come here with kind of like old, you know, that the house is the, you know how places get moldy from the houses get moldy and so forth from so many leaves and foliage sometimes, the wet stuff around it. And then I'm going to take this same small brush, and on this side, you need the lights and the darks, remember? So I'll get some darks down on the edges here. And I want a, you know, some foliage over here. Not too much, just some. And I'm just dabbing, that's all I'm doing. That's about the size that I want. I'm going to come over here to one of the mixers with the red and the yellow and the green and yellow ochre. I'm going to add some mauve in there. And let's see if I can. And I just think this is so cute. It's just like one of those, you know, those little cottages that you just happen to run into, you know, when you're going places or whatever. And I think what I'm going to do is, I think right about here, this is where you just kind of look at it for a few minutes and think, okay, what else can I add in? And I'm gonna, this is pretty much dry here, so I'm just gonna put like a little, I'm gonna put a little fence that's just sort of coming down. Something like this. It's an old fence, so everything's, you know, older looking. Then we want to get some of the light color to just get a little highlight going on. It's so much fun to come up with these, you know, little cool ideas. I was making those shorts and I was thinking, oh, that would be such a cute, you know, painting. So that's where it kind of came out of. Nothing, you know, major or big deal, just something kind of cute. And I'm darkening up one side of it. There we go. And I think we'll have that like that. And also with the fan brush, we can depict, if you wanted, get some different colors going on here, just so that it kind of looks a little more generic. Take the sides of the fan brush, and we're just dabbing it in everywhere to actually make, you know, that grassy, the look of grass. This is close up, so it would be lighter. I mean, more pronounced. You know, you'd see it better. Then I'm going to take some lighter colors, take a little of that red that or whatever that is, like a maroon that I sort of end up mixing, just to make that look that much more real, I guess you would call it. I'm trying to think of what else we could actually put. Well, one of the things I always usually put into a painting or landscape are birds. So I'm just gonna up here, and then maybe one here. And as you see, that really does add And then we can either have somebody home or somebody not home. So let's have somebody home. And we'll put some lights in the windows. Now there's a million things, people, that can be done with this, and it's all what you do when you paint. This is the little cottage that I'm depicting. Now we're adding in some highlights here. Now that the paint's kind of dried, I can come back in and without it all mixing with the other colors, and put in a bit more lights. I can do it with whatever brush. I'm choosing this round brush here. And I don't, of course, want the videos to go too long, but I mean, you know, how fun was that? I mean, it's just a matter of what can I do? You know, what fun little thing can I do that doesn't take long, that isn't too involved, with a few, oops, my hand went wacky there. That's okay. Make a little larger area, I guess. Okay. Sometimes my hand gets a little wacky. Okay, and then we want a little bit darker near the house. Nothing big deal here, folks. Just a cute, fun little, actually easy little tutorial for you to, you know, try stuff with. Practice, right? We'll get some darker, slow everything down, you know, speed it up and stuff, and zoom in and all those kinds of things so you can see, you know, what's happening. How'd you do that? How are we doing that? You know, so just take advantage of all those option things like that you have like that to be able to do those sort of things. And there we go. I actually think that we're done. So kind of, I'd love to see what you come up with yourself. I really, really, really would. But even if you just take parts of it and you try to, you know, you do what you can with it, it might not even look the same. It doesn't matter. It's that you get, you know, you start practicing it and you start putting that paint on the paper and start actually seeing what you can come up with, because what you put on your paper, even though you follow everything that I'm doing on here, when you put it down, it's going to look different to some degree because it's coming from your hands. It's coming from what you see in your eyes and how that transfers to your hand onto the paper. So, which is all great. It's all part of the learning experience. It's part of painting. It's part of creativity. And it's part of you being the painter for your painting. So have a great rest of your day, folks. Check out my other stuff. And bye for now.